Hey there, thanks for joining. Let's make some guacamole. The first step to making an awesome guacamole is Pico de Gallo. Pico de Gallo is a mix of tomatoes, cilantro, jalapeno, onion, all mixed up to make this delicious salsa fresca. So I have 3 Roma tomatoes here, and I am going to finely dice these. Make sure that your tomatoes are ripe. I like the Roma tomato variety just because they tend to be a little bit less watery than some of the other variety of tomatoes that you'll find. So here we're going to make a nice dice on our tomatoes for our Pico de Gallo. So I like to turn the tomato up on its top and then make a few slices vertically, and then each individual slice additional vertical cuts, and then again horizontally. So that'll give you the perfect bite. All right, I have all of our tomatoes chopped up here, and I'm going to put these in a bowl, and then we'll get going on some of our other ingredients. Next thing to chop is a jalapeno. Yep, I chopped the top off already. What are you going to do? I'm actually only going to use half of this jalapeno, and I'm also going to remove the ribs and the seeds of the jalapeno. This is where all the heat is, and I'm not going to include those just because, well, the kids are eating it and they hate flavor for some reason. So I'm going to remove the ribs and the seeds with a spoon. That way, I find this to be an easy method. That way you're not having to dig out with your fingers, and that's not recommended. So a fine dice on this as well, that way you're not getting big chunks of jalapeno in your bite of guacamole. All right, I'm gonna add our minced jalapeno to our bowl of tomatoes, and it's already looking like an awesome pico de gallo, but we're missing some cilantro. Oh, it smells so good. I'm going to take a bunch of this, and I'm actually going to use the leaves and the stems. The stems have a ton of flavor. So for the cilantro, we want to do a fine mince on this. That way you're not getting big chunks of cilantro in with your pico de gallo and your guacamole. So add that to the bowl once that is all minced up. All right, let's slice up some onion. White onion goes a long way in guacamole and pico de gallo. You only need a little bit. So I'm only going to slice a few slices here, and I'm going to do a fine mince. That way we're only getting a little bit of bites of onion, and it's not a big chunk, which can be alarming. So once your onion is minced, add it to the bowl with the tomatoes, cilantro, and jalapeno. And let's start wrapping this pico de gallo up. I have some salt here. I like to use the coarse sea salt. Go ahead and do your best Salt Bae impression here. We can't forget the fresh cracked black pepper either. A couple cracks of that. Grab a spoon and mix it all together until it's nice and incorporated. All right. Look at this beautiful pico de gallo. Before we go ahead and, add it to our guacamole, here's my little taste test dance. Oh yeah. Grab some chips and taste test. No shame, I'm just ripping a bag open. No styling. Let's go for it. Look at that pico de gallo, so fresh. Don't you just want to put it in your mouth? Oh yeah, that's gonna be good in our guacamole. Let's do this. Let's make some guac. All right, here I have 2 ripe Hass avocados. They're firm, but soft and ripe at the same time. If that's a thing, you get it, right? I'm going to slice the avocado in half. Look at that beauty! Beautiful. All right, let's take care of the second one. Sometimes avocados will have this stem on the top. Please remove that because sometimes that'll end up in your guacamole. You don't want to bite a stem in there. No, we don't want that. So again, slice your avocado in half, expose the pit, and I like to just hold the avocado and give it a good whack, pop it out. And this is probably the safest way to cut an avocado is you remove the avocado with a spoon from its skin and then finally dice it this way. You can also hold the avocado and then dice it in the skin itself, but then you kind of run the risk of cutting yourself. And you know, I don't want to recommend that to you. Once the avocado is diced, add it to a bowl. Take a fork and start mashing the avocado. I like my guacamole to be a little bit chunky, and we are going to mix this some more once we add our seasoning, so I'm going to leave it a little like a rough chunk. A rough chunk. So appetizing, right? We're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm not going to add a lot because there's already salt in the Pico de Gallo, and I don't want to make it too salty, especially since we're going to be eating this with tortilla chips. The next seasoning we're going to add to our guacamole is cumin. You only need a little bit here, so about 1/8 of a teaspoon, followed by some chili powder. You don't need a lot of chili powder, just 1/8 of a teaspoon. The next must-have for guacamole is granulated garlic. Put in 1/4 of a teaspoon there. And next, just a very small amount of granulated onion. There's already onion in the Pico de Gallo. We don't want to put a ton in here, so only about 1/8 of a teaspoon. And the last spice in our guacamole, fresh cracked black pepper. A few cracks of the black pepper. And next, our limes. I like to roll the limes first. That way you get all the juices flowing. Look at this beautiful lime. I love fresh cut citrus like this. It's gorgeous. So we're gonna squeeze both halves of the limes into our guacamole. All right, mix it up till all the spices and the lime juice are incorporated. And we're gonna add a couple of spoonfuls of our Pico de Gallo into our guacamole. All right. And mix up your guacamole until everything's all mixed in together. All right, let's take a look at this beauty. Oh, looks so good. I do recommend getting a different serving dish other than the bowl you mixed it in. That way it's a better presentation, but let's take a bite. Oh yeah. It's so good. Has such good flavor. It's tangy from the lime. You get that fresh bite of the cilantro in from the Pico de Gallo. It's such a perfect melody of flavors. Let me know if you plan on making the Pico de Gallo and guacamole in the comments below. And please subscribe for more weekly videos on What's the Frickin' Recipe.